Hi everybody. Today we're going to talk about Jyeshta Nakshatra. Jyeshta Nakshatra starts at 16 degrees and 40 minutes and goes to 30 degrees in the zodiac of Scorpio. The ruling planet of this nakshatra is Mercury or Buddha. The ruling deity is Indra, the king of the gods. The symbol is an umbrella. The translation of Jyeshta is the eldest. The gender of this nakshatra is female. The guna is sattvic. And Jyeshta's nakshatra's sharp and dreadful nature. Its element is air. And the caste is servant class. And the animal is a male deer. Jyeshta is falling in a Gandanta. And this Gandanta is towards the end of the Jyeshta. So it would be in the fourth pod of Jyeshta. It goes from 26 degrees and 40 minutes to 30 degrees. Jyeshta natives have one quality that is really prominent, and it's that these people are genuinely or generally impulsive. They do things that are sometimes not well thought through, and sometimes it could lead to a lot of issues. The natives of this nakshatra are prone to alcoholism, or even in these days drugs, or pills, anything that is like a numbing effect. These people have a certain quality of the way that they talk. They like to get into people and probe what's going on. They're the types of people that ask you a million questions, even if they're personal questions. They don't really have anything holding them back. They're the types of people who will ask you straight up, like very personal things or not so personal things. Anything that they feel like they want to know, to probe about you, they will ask. They're not ashamed to ask, and no matter how many times they lose friends or people tell them that they dislike that, it doesn't matter. They keep doing these sort of things, and it's not always bad. I mean, for example, like Oprah Winfrey has this nakshatra, and so did Princess Diana. So, I mean, you can see two completely different types of people with this nakshatra. So, I mean, Oprah Winfrey, yeah, she's got to ask a lot of hard questions, to probe inside. But she does it with a certain ability that doesn't, have, that harshness in it. And it, the way it comes across is a lot different than, asking someone in a way that might be offensive. And then you have Princess Diana, and she was, when things would go wrong with her life, she would turn to disastrous things like drinking, hanging out with the wrong people. I remember in a documentary about her, like, she felt like the queen didn't like her, so she instead of trying to appease and make the queen like her, or try to find out what she could do to fix the situation, she would just like go in like the main sitting room, where like fancy furniture was at, where people, it was kind of like the reception, like when you go to someone's house and you have guests in the reception. She would go in there and blast her radio and like either dance or just screw around in there. Just really impulsive. Like she had a few love affairs. I mean, these people, Jyeshta Nakshatras, they are very passionate, passionate lovers, and like Princess Diana would have, she had a lover, and when it didn't work out, it was like she just started to spiral down and down and down, and it just got worse and worse. And it's like sometimes when these natives get really impulsive, they don't really see the consequence of their actions. I mean, everybody gets a little impulsive sometimes, but these natives tend to get extremely impulsive, and sometimes their actions can be disastrous. I mean, you know how it is when like you get, you like basically when you get so angry or something and you see red and then you start doing things that you wouldn't normally ever do. Well, that's how these natives are a lot of the times when, they feel unsure about something and they don't really know what's going on. They don't know if they're well liked or not. And so they might end up doing something really reckless and impulsive. I mean, this can also be a good thing too. Sometimes when you need to start a business or something, you're afraid to take that first step in starting the business. I mean, this impulsiveness could be that one little push that you need to get you to start your business or something like that. And I mean, look at Oprah Winfrey. She's, one of the most wealthiest women in America. And, she has this nakshatra. So it can go both ways. These people tend to be the types of people who care a lot about what other people think of them. They are the types who these natives, and it's more so for the women, but these natives will get really emotional if things don't work out. Like if they fall in love with somebody and they don't work out, they might end up being more of the clingy type, although they would never like admit that they were clingy, but they might become clingy. Like sometimes maybe that Jyeshta, instead of being impulsive, they might become really clingy, asking why, what did I do, and what can I do to fix it? And so you could see that a lot with these natives. I mean, these natives are, even though they do have some of those qualities of being impulsive and reckless with their impulsiveness, these people are really intelligent though, because they're curious, to know things, and they have that probing mentality. So they do dig deep and they try to be the best, so it's not like they're, just, they have an evil intention or something. It's just sometimes that impulsiveness can just get the better of them in a lot of cases. So it's just something to look out for. Sometimes what goes along with that impulsiveness is like having a really, really bad temper. These natives, they do get hot-headed a lot. As long as things are going their way and, everything is, and their way is fine. I mean, it's just like everybody else's way. It's just a lot of people handle attachment differently. A lot of people handle rejection differently. And these natives tend to get really hurt and emotional by rejection. And they tend to have impulsive reactions when their attachments get messed up in their relationships. So I think just keeping an eye on your behavior when you do get broken attachments, and just whenever things might not be going perfectly in your life, instead of just being impulsive and just wanting to run away and do something destructive, you can just take a step back and be like, who cares? People come and go, and situations go up, they go down, and just look at it like that and see if it causes a little bit more stability. Let's see. Jyeshtas have a really unique way of looking at life. Especially when they're dealing with difficult situations that arise. These natives are the type of people who get a lot of relief by talking. We've done a lot of nakshatras in a row, and it wasn't on purpose, but it just happened to be that way. But we've done a lot of nakshatras where, these natives, they didn't like to be fenced in. They weren't possessive. They, didn't like talking a lot. They were, kind of okay being, having a more introverted personality. But this nakshatra, on the other hand, is extremely extroverted and enjoys talking. And it's some people, they deal with things better when they talk. I mean, that's why we have hundreds of millions of psychiatrists and counselors around, because a lot of people, that's the way that they can deal with problems, is by talking. And so these natives do like to talk out their issues. This is more with the females. The males they have inner issues and inner struggles, but they don't like to talk about it. They try to appear like everything's okay, and they can even become really hypocritical. Some people, they don't care, and so that hypocriticalness doesn't fall into their character. But male Jyeshta Nakshatra men, they tend to be like, they'll go above and beyond trying to make their character appear differently than what is going on inside. And they may even lie about their character. These natives do typically have a happy marriage life. Let's see what else. A lot of times with these males, sometimes your good qualities go unnoticed, and that would cause anybody to feel inner turmoil. It's understandable. It's just this, with this nakshatra, there's a lot of issues dealing with that, though. These natives don't deal with rejection, very well. It's the typical thing. Like I've said about Princess Diana, when she didn't have things go her way, when her, love life was going down, the rest of her life started to crumble around her because of the way that she handled it. And she was a princess, and she had, she had an opportunity to have, a very luxurious lifestyle, a very relaxed, peaceful lifestyle. And, the turmoils of her life just took control. And, some people, they just don't handle it well. I mean, you know how when you have toddlers in the grocery store, and they're like, I want that candy. And you don't give it to them. And then they go berserk, in the store. That's how these natives are, but as an adult. And although they may not scream and cry, they might turn to alcoholism. They might go and, jump off a bridge or something, or, they might go and they curse somebody out, That's another thing with this nakshatra, is that sometimes the way that these people talk can be really, really cutthroat. Like, they're the type of people who, even if they're right in what they're saying, the way that they say it could be really, really hurtful. And even if the other person deserves to be, talked to or reprehended, so to speak, I mean, these people will definitely do that. And it could even be to the point where it gets out of control. I know that I've said a lot of things that probably don't sound that great, but I mean, not everybody has like a perfect disposition in their nakshatra. Some of the nakshatras are a lot harder and heavier to deal with than the other ones. And it's all the way that your mindset deals with it. I mean, you could turn this beautiful nakshatra, that happens at the end and the beginning of a Gandanta, I mean, you could take it and turn it into something very powerful. I mean, look at Oprah Winfrey. She's a perfect example. I'm just pointing out the characteristics that aren't really told a lot about this nakshatra, so that we can be aware of what is going on and how to fix it. Most of these natives have a really good physical looking body, but usually they don't hold on to that youthful look for a long time. They may have dental problems, a lot of like tooth problems. When this native is not feeling impulsive and things are going well in the life, these people are really clear-minded. And like I said before, these people are very good lovers. They're very loving and passionate. They're the type of people who will, I mean, they'll say some of the most beautiful things to you. I mean, this sharp tongue that they have can go both ways. So if things are going well, these people are able to like say the right thing at the right time, and they'll take you on a magic carpet ride with their words, and you'll feel like you're in heaven sometimes because of the things that these people say. They really do have a nice gift of gab when things are going well, and everything is bright around them. Then these people have a really nice way of speaking, and that sharp tongue can turn on a dime and turn into something really poetic and beautiful. As I said before, with this nakshatra, especially with the females, you guys like to know what other people think about you. And it's just to make yourself better. In the workplace, these people have really professional ways of dominating the entire group. They can be awesome in the workplace if everything is going well. These people, they want to start working early in life. These people will have no problem going to the job. They love working. They're really determined. Even though they are determined, they do change their jobs quite often, trying to get like that better job and one that gives more stability. Let's see. I'm trying to think of some more that we can go over. Oh, some males who had this nakshatra. Brad Pitt had this nakshatra, and as you can tell with Brad Pitt, I mean, he did have some very terminal or emotional terminal situations with his love life. But as I said, the males are a little bit different when it comes to being impulsive. They're the type who will kind of hide that facade, and they may even hide it so much that they become hypocritical. But on the other hand, on the flip side, Sigmund Freud had this nakshatra as well, prominently in his chart. And he was very, very thorough in his work. I mean, he's known as the father of psychology. Had a lot of brilliant ideas, did a lot of probing. That probing aspect is in there. You got to be probing if you're going to be a psychiatrist or a therapist. It's just it's something you got to have. And like I said, these natives, they love talking. They love to talk. They love to probe. And some people are like that. And that's not always a bad thing. Not at all. Let's see. We are going to get into the compatibilities here. Let me pull those up. And you can base this off your own relationships and see how well that those are relating to you. So for this nakshatra, the compatibility, of course, is going to be with Mercury or Buddha. So that's going to be with Ashlesha, Jyeshta, Revati. I do want to mention one thing, though. A lot of the nakshatras are really good with their counterpart. But this nakshatra, you have to be careful, because two Jyeshtas together, even though you guys really are in sync with each other, sometimes a union together might be a little bit tricky. So keep that in mind. Just be very careful if you're a Jyeshta on Jyeshta. Just be really careful about that. You guys are good with Surya planets, so the sun. So with Kritika, Uttar Falguni, Uttar Ashada, you guys will be really good with Venus or Shukra. So Purva Falguni, Purva Ashada, Baharani. You start going neutral with Shani. But you'll be neutral with Pushya, Anuradha, Uttar Bhadrapada. And you'll start getting uneasy with Brihaspati. So with Purnavasu, Vishaka, Purva Bhadrapa. With Mangala or Mars. So with Danishta, Chitra, Mrigashira. and with Rahu and Ketu, surprisingly. And I think that these have to be taken on an individual nakshatra to nakshatra basis. Because I mean, yes, probably you wouldn't get along with most of the Rahu Ketu nakshatras, but there's probably a few in there that you would get along really well with. So just make sure that you're taking your relationships. I mean, yes, you can look at it at face value of, you know, the whole idea of Rahu and Ketu nakshatras being uneasy with you. But if you are in a relationship, look at it in totality and look at it on an individual nakshatra basis. So, but with Rahu Ketu, it's Anuradha, Swati, Shatabishta, Ashwini, Magha, Mula. And the most challenging is going to be with the moon planets, or with the moon nakshatras. So your Rohini, Hasta, and Shravana. Well, folks, thank you so much for coming tonight, and I hope you enjoyed this lesson as much as I enjoyed giving it. Have a great night.